Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Scouting Hot Finds Live. This show that I'm putting together to kind of support the scouting memorabilia community. Let me show you what we have planned for tonight. So, right off, I want to say every week we're going to have a giveaway. Tonight, we're going to find out who the winner of last week's giveaway was. In fact, we're going to make that selection live. Then I have some unboxings to do, including one that I pre-recorded and a couple that I'm going to do for you live here. Then our big topic tonight, Tico Perez is going to be talking about trading and visitors at the 2023 Jamboree. This will be my third and final piece of that interview with Tico. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my antique mall, so definitely stick around for that. Well, one of the pieces of feedback that I got for this show was that I need to focus it more towards newer collectors. Thank you, Mary, for sending that email. Let me just invite anyone else who would like to do that. Send me feedback. I would love to get that. You can always go to my website and find my contact information, scoutpatchcollectors.com. So, what I wanted to do tonight was kind of start off the show by talking about this idea of newer collectors and maybe that being a focus of what we could talk about at Scouting Hot Finds Live, along with the unboxings and interviewing other collectors. So each episode, I'm going to try to take one little slice and focus on it. And tonight it's going to be Trade-O-Rees. Now, if you are a newer collector, again, young or old, a Trade-O-Ree is basically it's a swap meet. It's sort of that weekend event where somewhere in America at a church, at a VFW hall, sometimes at a hotel ballroom, or maybe depending on where you are, maybe even a gymnasium or something, there's going to be a gathering of scouting memorabilia collectors. And these are what we call Trade-O-Rees. I actually have a Trade-O-Ree calendar on my website that I would like to show you guys. What I want to do is share my screen and let you see that. All right, so we have navigated over to my website, scoutpatchcollectors.com, and there you will find a Trade-O-Ree calendar. So if you were to click on that link right there, you would come up to this. This is my Trade-O-Ree calendar that I keep updated fairly regularly, and you can see the way I have it arranged is chronological order. So I do need to keep this updated. It's a constant challenge, but luckily I do have a lot of folks who reach out to me. But you can see here I have the date of the event, the name of the event, where it is, and then there's also a little logo here. Now this is my little thing. I've selected state seals, and you can click on that and actually get the Trade-O-Ree flyer, which will have all the information. So this is my Trade-O-Ree calendar, and if you scroll down far enough, you will come across what's coming up. October 14th and 15th, the Charlotte Trade-O-Ree in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me click on this guy right here and tell you a little bit about my Trade-O-Ree, because I would love to invite anyone to come down and be a part of this. So my Trade-O-Ree is happening. It's at my church that I'm a member of, Sardis Presbyterian Church, and there's no admission to come. The reason why I think that everyone should go to a Trade-O-Ree, whether it's mine or someone else's, is because this is your real opportunity to gather the clan, all of the thread heads together, the cloth hounds, whatever little nickname you want to make up for us. This is where they all get together. Now, typically at a Trade-O-Ree, you're going to get collectors coming from 2 to 3, 4 hours away. Some Trade-O-Rees are really national in scope and attract people from multiple states. People even fly in for them. I don't know that I have anyone flying in for my Trade-O-Ree, but I do have people coming from multiple states. We're up to about 24 vendors that are coming. You can see we're going to have silent auctions. We're going to have scouts. We're going to give them free patches when they come in the door. We're going to do a little fun photo booth. But the thing that I'm really excited about for this Trade-O-Ree is we're actually going to have a display. It's not really going to be a competition so much, but I've invited collectors to bring their memorabilia to display. And at the Charlotte Trade-O-Ree so far, we have 4 folks who have agreed to do that, including Russell Smart, who is the chairman of the National Scout Museum Task Force. And Russell is going to bring a couple of really nice displays, things you definitely don't want to miss. We also have merit badges going on. We have collections and Scouting Heritage merit badges going on. And so those will be really a treat. Hopefully that will help draw in scouts. One of our local troops is providing the concessions at this event. And so hopefully you all can make the Charlotte Trade-O-Ree. Or if you can't make the Charlotte Trade-O-Ree, I'm going to invite you to check out my Trade-O-Ree calendar. Again, I made a little short link for you. So you can go to Scout Patch Collectors /TOR, and that will take you to my Trade-O-Ree calendar. Now, again, I need to keep that updated. It's always a constant challenge. If you're watching this later, though, and you see that a show is not on there, please send me an email and I'll be happy to add it. Again, Trade-O-Rees are the opportunity for newer collectors to go to meet veteran collectors, see their collections. That's why I'm doing this display deal. Ask them questions, trade patches, buy patches, sell patches. Basically, this is your chance to do all that in person. Certainly, some of this happens at scouting events like conclaves and big things like Jamboree and things like that. But these Trade-O-Rees literally happen every weekend of the year somewhere in the country, multiple times. I knew the weekend that I'm having my Trade-O-Ree, you could see on the list there was another Trade-O-Ree going on. So again, this is my Trade-O-Ree, the Charlotte Trade-O-Ree. You can find the flyer for it. Another Trade-O-Ree that I'll be attending is Chris Jensen's Trade-O-Ree. Chris is in South Carolina in Easley. This flyer says this is the 32nd Winter South Carolina Trade-O-Ree. Chris has been doing these Trade-O-Rees ever since the 1990s, and I have missed very few of them. So I try to go to as many Trade-O-Rees as I can. Normally for me, that's going to be in about a 3-hour distance. I'm going to go to the Winston-Salem Trade-O-Ree that's happening in December. I'm going to be probably going to the Indianapolis Trade-O-Ree in February. That's not a close Trade-O-Ree for me, but that is more of a national scope Trade-O-Ree. So definitely want to do that. Now, stay tuned because we are going to have, as I mentioned, our giveaway. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a live deal where we're going to select the winner of last week's giveaway, this handmade leather Native American bag. And then we're also going to tell you how you can part of this week's giveaway. I have something completely different to give away that I will show you guys in just a minute. So stick around for that. It's going to be really cool. I'll go ahead and show you what it is. So we're going to give away this guy right here. I got this in a collection, and this is a 1937 original Jamboree patch, along with, this is kind of an odd pairing, but the person that put this frame together decided to pair in these two patches from 60 years later, the 1997 National Scout Jamboree. You can see that Boy Scouts kind of borrowed the logo from those guys and decided to use it, which is totally cool. But this 37 Jamboree, very iconic, this patch. And so this person had it framed. So tonight's giveaway, which we will tell you a little bit more about how you can enter in a few minutes, this is what you'll be getting. So definitely stick around for that. All right, one of the highlights that I like to do in Scouting Hot Finds Live is always include unboxings. And so I have an unboxing video I want to play for you now. And then a little bit later in the show, I'm going to come back and we're going to actually have just a couple of live unboxings on some really small items. So I hope you enjoy this unboxing. Hey, Jason Spengler, the Santee Swapper, back with another unboxing. This time what I've got is several small packages that I want to unbox for you here on the camera and just kind of show you what I've got. These are not collections that would be big enough to do kind of a big dramatic unboxing with different camera angles and everything else, but I thought you guys might enjoy seeing some of the items that I've gotten in. And so with no further ado, let me start ripping into these packages. I actually have a bit of a backlog, just a lot of stuff that I need to move and work on. So here's the first one. This is interesting. So this is a little tiny photo album. Is there anything in here? Sure enough, this has the cards that go with this sash. So let me just peek in here and see what the year is. So it looks like 1940, and it's from Lake City, Florida. And it's got even a card right there with a picture. Check that out. It's got the guy's name with his merit badge cards. And then let me just see if there's possibly a rank card, Star Scout, Second Class Scout, and First Class Scout. So I don't see anything higher than that. And then this is a thin merit badge sash that is sized for just 2 merit badges wide. You might remember that was actually one of the options back then. And we can see several merit badges here. The real winner for me right up top is going to be aviation. Check that guy out. That's a tough merit badge. These are all
from that World War II era, basically like mid 1930s up through World War II, and we call these tan narrows. The other ones here, electricity is kind of an obscure one, photography kind of obscure. You know, a little tip for merit badges when you're working on that collection, you want to look for merit badges that were not typically earned. Maybe they were a little harder to get and not as many scouts pursued them. But things like, you know, life-saving or first aid, swimming, scholarship, reading, those are badges a lot of scouts earn, so they're not very rare. So definitely a little cool collection there. I'm gonna set this down, keep going. Sometimes when I hear from people, they have these little micro, and you know, yeah, with somebody's time in scouting, big thing is they've held on to it for all these years. They don't want to just you know, throw this stuff out. So I don't want them to throw it out either. So you would be surprised. I make offers to buy, I mean, literally collections this big. And I buy these collections and I have people mail them to me, but it's because I don't want them to, you know, be thrown in the trash. I want to see what they have, and I enjoy getting collections like this. So, you know, I joke about how I recycle stuff. That's really what I'm doing here. Got a nice little trail medal here. This is the Kipata Trail. Let you see that. I know the camera will zoom in a little bit on that. And then we'll see the other items that are here as well. Oh, that's a cool one. I've had this one before. This is a trail patch, and someone has actually gone and added a loop there. But I love that dragon there. Indiana 100 miles, so several different trail patches here. Kentucky Lincoln Trail, Lincoln Pilgrimage, which is an annual event. Another one of those piece of birds. Sunsinger Trail. This would be the patch that matches the medal we just saw. So that's really cool. Fort Harrison, Covered Bridge, another Lincoln there. And that's pretty much the end of it. I've had this one before. I always thought this was cool. The Foo Dogs, Trail of the Foo Dogs. So I don't know what the Trail of the Foo Dogs is, but the lady sent me a little note here. I'm almost sure every collection that you're going to see in this video, I have already received the payment for, and I have already mailed them. These are some actually that have been sitting around for a while. Some of these collections I got before summer camp, and I just didn't have the chance to kind of do a little unboxing video, and that is kind of my thing. I mean, I enjoy filming and seeing what people had, so I didn't want to open these and not show you. I actually know what's in this one. I know one thing that's in here. I dealt with this lady before, and I bought a really nice old merit badge sash from her. And she reached back out to me. She found some more stuff. That does happen sometimes with folks. Well, what she found was something that goes with that merit badge sash. And so I know I kept the merit badge sash because I don't ever get rid of old merit badge sashes. I kind of have a collection of just a whole giant tub of merit badge sashes. I really haven't done anything with them, but I have in my mind ideas that I'm going to, you know, mount them, frame them, whatever. So she sent me some stuff here that includes something that's really going to go with that merit badge sash. So let me kind of pull this stuff out, and I'll definitely show you what I'm talking about. She also found her Girl Scout stuff. So there's also a little bit of Girl Scout stuff here, and this is from the 1960s. You can kind of tell that era. So Angelus Council, and that's her troop crest. I actually speak Girl Scout language because I do have a really nice collection of Girl Scout stuff. So that's a troop crest. Sorry. These are the old style things. This is a bridge to brownies where you fly up from your brownie wings, and then some more patches here. So this would have been, I believe, a cadet sash from that time period. Then we have in here a little baggie that has her Girl Scout belt. And then there's this little coffin case right here. I think that's what I really want to see. So I was really happy that she reached out to me. And yes, here we go. So this is the Eagle medal that goes with the sash that I've already purchased. And I'm really excited to kind of marry them back up because sometimes I get Eagle medals without sashes or sashes without Eagle medals, but obviously prefer getting it all together. So that's really cool. And I can go back and look at the time period, but I believe this is also like a World War II era, maybe even a little bit before that, honestly. So I think it belonged to like a father. And then here's some more stuff here. There is an old membership card, a Boy Scout one. You know, we've seen some Girl Scout stuff, so this might help date. Okay, so here's a Cub Scout card. Yep. And the date on the back is 1936, June 19th of 1936. And I believe this would have been her father. And so he was a Cub Scout in 36. Then definitely he's going to be a Boy Scout during those World War II era. So that's what this goes with. And just, you know, it's wonderful getting the provenance with the cards to kind of match everything up. So I'll keep this all in the same bag so that I don't get anything separated. And then the only other thing she had in here, I believe there's a Scout handbook. Yep. So this is the handbook that would go with all of that. Now it's pretty, you know, rough for wear here, so I'm going to keep it wrapped up. And then she had her Girl Scout Cadet beret. So set all that down. All right. Do one more box here. This is another small box that I got in, and just want to film opening this. Every once in a while, I actually have someone send me a request, and they're like, "Hey, will you do an unboxing when you buy my collection?" And of course, I try to oblige those people. So get this here. Here's my address. So again, you know, small collection. A lot of times, I'm buying collections from families where it's just the person's personal stuff. Here's his Cub Scout dinner cord. I believe that's what that's called. And then we have in here merit badge sash that I'll show you in a second. Ordeal sash. This is a neckerchief. Let's see what this neckerchief is. Kind of give you an idea. Once you see the neckerchief, you'll kind of know where this collection's from. So Camp Saratoga. All right. See that guy right there. And then just a standard one here. And then here's a little thing of patches. And let's see, there's a Camp Saratoga patch here. The Jubilee year 1960. So now we see some patches that start to date everything. So 1960. Here's 61 on the Saratoga. A winter camp, a felt winter camp patch for Camp Saratoga. And then again, 1961. And then another felt winter. This is kind of late, actually, I would say, for having felt patches, but that's okay. Some of them did. And then here is a strip for Corinth. And see if there's anything else in here. Saratoga Council Jamboree 62. So now, the reason why I showed you all that first is then to go to the sash, because then the sash should kind of match up with that time period. So what you see at the top here is that the merit badges begin with this style of patch that would have been pure 1950s. So these are cut edge khakis, and you can see that these were hand stitched on there because you can still see that pretty well. But then we start to transition right in here to this style that would have been the 1970s. And that is with some of them being fully embroidered with cloth back, but then others having this khaki olive background and then having a rolled edge border. And so that's how the rest of the sash fills out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 21, 22, 23 merit badges. So there's not an eagle medal in this this collection. And I don't remember from my conversations with the person whether or not they had achieved the rank of Eagle. I see, for example, a first class patch, a senior patrol leader patch, a star patch, which sounds just about right. But I don't see a rank above that. So that may have been where the person topped out. So anyways, I just want to record this video because, again, when I open these collections, I enjoy sharing a little bit of scouting history with people. Then also want to make sure that I kind of capture that moment, because for me, there's also the surprise of not always knowing exactly what I'm going to find in the box. Jason Spangler, the Santee Swapper, thanks for watching this video. I've got it up on the screen, but go check out my website, scoutpatchcollectors.com. That's where you can go and find everything that I'm doing on the internet, whether it be more videos like this or other resources I have to try to work and promote the hobby of collecting scouting memorabilia. Thanks very much.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that unboxing. Got some cool stuff there. I love getting merit badge sashes and eagle medals. That'll never get old. So now it's time for our giveaway. What I'm going to do is take you to King Sumo, which is the website that I'm using to do these giveaways. And we're actually going to pick the winner of last week's beaded Indian bag live. So that way you can actually see how this works. So you can see here we had 49 contestants. the conversion rate, all that good stuff. And it says ready to award. Let's click this guy and we'll see who the winner is. Oh, here we go. Here's somebody I know, Ranger Ray. So I will send him an email, and you can see there that he had just a 2%, 2.6% chance of winning, but yet he was the winner. So that's great. I will email him. Now, here's the easy way that you can enter this week's giveaway. Again, this week, I'm going to be giving away this frame that I got in the collection, 1937 National Scout Jamboree original felt patch, paired up with a couple of 1997 Jamboree patches. All you have to go is to the website scoutpatchcollectors.com/prize. And if you, all you have to do there is go in and enter your information. I want to actually show you that just to show you how easy it is to enter. I've already got this live. So if you decide to go and check it out, this is what it'll look like. All you have to do is put in your name and your email, much like you saw with Ranger Ray, the winner. So as of right now, there's 6 days and 20 hours left in this drawing, which I think is kind of fun. And so, I get all kinds of cool stuff in collections, and I really enjoy the chance to give it away. The person who won last week's was really kind of thrilled to get it, and I hope Ranger Ray will enjoy getting what we have this time. All right, I promised you a couple of live unboxings, so I want to do that now. Here's the deal. I have about 62 unboxing videos on my YouTube channel, and I've decided to come up with an easy link to help you find that playlist. scoutpatchcollectors.com/playlist will take you there. But I have a couple of really small things I want to unbox for you live on tonight's show. This is Scouting Hot Finds Live, right? This one I already unboxed, but there's a couple of things in here I'm going to pull out. This is a 1971 NOAC. This is kind of a little plastic bag they used to give them when you showed up as part of your ditty bag. And this guy, he was kind of he was on staff. And in doing that, he had a couple of people sign sashes for him, one of which was a young lady that he had the opportunity to kind of chaperone around. I think he may have even picked her up from the airport. So this is her. He had her sign the sash. Her last name is Walsh. I think it was Renee Walsh. I could be wrong about the first name. It's a little hard to read. She was like Miss Teen America in 1971. You can go Google her. I did and found her picture. So that's kind of cool. And then the other one is very cool in my eyes. I have seen lots of Ordinaire sashes signed by the founders, but this gentleman, again, I think he was on communication staff or some staff role. He was able to get both of the OA founders, Carol A. Edson and Erin Goodman, to sign a 1971 NOAC neckerchief. That is pretty cool. I do not own anything other than a sash signed, and a lot of times you don't get things that are signed by both founders. So this to me is really kind of a cool item. I think it's kind of cool anyways. All right, the next one is something that I'm really looking forward to getting. This lady's, I believe it was her grandfather, worked for the Boy Scouts of America. And this box, I'm going to literally cut it for you live here. She went back and forth with me a little bit about this collection, and I was really happy to get it. It came to me from Washington. I believe her dad was a scout executive, I believe in Denver. I'm not sure if we're going to get the strip on there, but let me just kind of show you this. A couple of cool things here. And again, I apologize if you're listening to this as a podcast format, you won't get to see this, but you can always go to YouTube and click on this episode and find it. So this Region 11 neckerchief, he would have obviously had this, but this is the real key piece to why I purchased this collection. I wanted to get this professional jacket. So, you think about the scout executive, right? He would need to look like the sharp-looking leader of a Boy Scout council. And so this was his uniform that he wore as a scout executive. And the reason why you know that is because collar brass right here, this with the red and the wreath, that is for a professional scout. And he, again, was a scout executive in Region 11. And so to me, this is a really cool piece. She was really nice about it because she said, oh, there's a few moth holes and things like that. But I was like, not a problem. I wasn't worried about that. This has metal buttons, and so I probably could have looked this up ahead of time, but I believe this with metal buttons is going to place this probably pre 1950. So this is a really, really old jacket, which I think is very cool to get that. Ryan Lasansky, send me a message and let me know how I need to display that, how I can put this together in a way to share with other people. So again, go to the playlist there. You can see scoutpatchcollectors.com/playlist will take you there, and you can see all the unboxings that I have. All right. One last thing I want to tell you before we do the interview with Tico Perez, and that is I want to tell you a little bit about my antique mall. Now, it's not really a secret. I kind of share this everywhere that I have an antique mall booth in Charlotte at the Sleepy Poet. And let me take you back to my website and I'll kind of show you that. So if you're ever in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, I would love, love, love for you to come visit the Sleepy Poet. It's a gigantic antique mall. If you're looking on the video here, you can see where it is located there on South Boulevard in Charlotte. They bought an industrial building and then refurbished it to make it a gigantic antique mall. And I have a booth there. Only thing you will find in my booth is scouting memorabilia. It is 100% scouting memorabilia. They're open just about every day of the year. If you want to go find out a little bit more about it, again, you can go to my website, scoutpatchcollectors.com, and look at Antique Mall booth. I also do have a little business card I'll throw up here. This has the old address on it. I need to update this guy. But if you go to santeeswapperstore.com, that'll drop you right into that page where you can see my stuff about my Antique Mall booth. I actually am going to be going out there Friday morning. So tomorrow I'm going to spend like the whole day working on stuff to go out in the antique mall, because with my Trade-O-Rees coming up, I want to make sure that the antique mall booth is fully stocked and loaded. So I'm going to be putting a lot of uniform pieces out there, books, things like that. Make sure it's ready to go. So the Trade-O-Rees crowd that kind of comes into town, maybe some of them will decide to divert over there and watch that. All right. Thank you for sticking around for the interview with Tico Perez. This is the third and final part. And for some of you, it's what you've been waiting on the whole time. This is where I'm going to ask Tico those questions about visitors and patch trading. So obviously, one of the big themes of Scouting Hot Finds Live is patch trading. Luckily, Tico Perez is a patch collector. He's also a very, very dedicated volunteer. All the things that he's done, being national commissioner, now stepping up to lead the Jamboree effort. So let's pull up this video with Tico Perez. Again, this was a short one. It's only going to last about 7 minutes. I said this before, but there's some spots in the video where some sunlight is coming in through the blinds of Tico's house there. And so it gets a little blurry, but I think the audio is perfect, and you'll definitely want to listen in to what Tico has to say about these topics. Well, Tico, we have talked about the scouts, we've talked about the staff. Now I want to kind of address this last group, which is the visitors and maybe even the patch traders. So
I like those guys and ladies.
That's right. You're one of that crowd sometimes. So I know that I have been a visitor at the 2013 and 2017 Jamborees, but ever since, moving to the summit, it's always been a little bit of a challenge because we had the Ruby Welcome Center, and you had to get on buses and all this kind of stuff. So maybe just kind of talk to us about the opportunity that visitors would have to come and see the Jamboree in 2023.
Yeah, there's multiple opportunities for visitors to come. Certainly, if you're going to be a day visitor, you're still going to have to check in through Ruby. There's so many security issues involved there, Jason, that there's no way to make that easy, right? We need to make sure no one is coming to do something wrong. Make sure no one is coming to, create havoc for us at the Jamboree. So check-in will be at Ruby, and there'll be buses running folks back and forth. We'll have a day visitor program, and then we've got overnight visitor program. We've got a sub-camp set aside to camp visitors. If you want to come with your family in camp, there'll be that opportunity to camp for a few days there. We'll feed you through Eagle's Nest, so you don't even have to worry about cooking your food. You'll be eating in the staff dining room. And we've got some phenomenal opportunities there. We're still spelling those out, but know that there will be an overnight option or even a weekly option for folks that want to come and not necessarily register for Jamboree, but kind of hang out for a few days and trade some patches and have some fun in the center area and all the different activities that you get to do there. It's not the full Jamboree experience by any stretch, but it's a pretty darn good experience. And there's a lot of fun stuff to do and see and be a part of as a visitor. But yeah, we have a very robust visitors program. Amped it up a lot, and we're in the process of continuing to do so. So it'll be better than it's ever been before. The one key, whether you're registered in scouting or not, you've got to go through YPT. So if you're not youth protection trained, we will stop you and make you go through our youth protection training. Safety first, as always. And you'll do that at Ruby, and then you'll just head up the hill.
Well, that is phenomenal. I know when I came in as a visitor, I had conversations with people, down at Ruby, and so many of them had just found campgrounds in the surrounding areas they were camping at. So they could come see their scout, come sort of visit the Jamboree. So to me, it's an ingenious idea to say, hey, we've got tens of thousands of acres. Why don't you come camp on our property, and we'll make it a little easier for you.
Exactly. I've got the space for it this time. So we're going to try to do it that way, and we'll let you eat in our dining hall, and we'll make sure that you're comfortable. And at the same time, we'll collect a fee for that and hopefully help the Jamboree's bottom line.
So for visitors who come, what are some of the activities you could do? I know in 2013, 2017, there was kind of like that center, what I would call the heart of the summit, where you had the action center and the trading post and all that. Can you just kind of talk about what is it that visitors get to do at the Jamboree? And you get all the Summit Center participation. You get all the Summit Center participation that you want. You won't be able to go back into the action areas and all the areas where the Jamboree participants are. That wouldn't be fair. But you certainly have the opportunity to participate in much of the Jamboree. It's there. You can see shows if there's shows going on that time in the regional areas, and certainly the trading post and a lot of the patch trading areas. You can go find your kid and go have a good time with your son or daughter that day. But for the most part, you have run of the Jamboree except the activities. And those activities areas are pretty much designed for our participants. But you'll have separate armbands, and there'll be things you can do and can't do, and we're still sorting through them. But we are going to give a very robust visitor experience. Well, Tico, you have already mentioned patch collecting, and certainly some people watching my show would be interested in patch collecting. So, not to redress all the history of patch collecting at the Jamboree and some of the rules and stuff, but focusing on 2023, what are kind of the rules, if you will, that you anticipate being around for this Jamboree?
Sure. In fact, when I became National Commissioner a lifetime ago, we got rid of the no adult to youth trading at the National Jamborees. I was never a rule. So we got rid of that rule. So that was very important. And that will continue now. I mean, you can certainly, youth and adult will be able to trade. Obviously, we would mind a little bit of supervision. But, I find that it's not the adults taking advantage of the youth. So they'll be trading everywhere. There'll be designated trading areas. As you might imagine, somebody who's traded patches my whole life, we're making arrangements to have some great patch trading facilities, well-lit facilities at night, so that patch trading can go on and happen in the key parts of the Jamboree. It's huge fellowship. It's people getting to know each other. It's people learning about other people's councils. And it's just an exciting, exciting time. So there'll be tons of patch trading going on. I know all of my different staffs are coming up with their patch designs. I showed you earlier, we've got our prototypes for all of our Jamboree staff positions. These are one of a kind prototypes. But I think you're going to see very robust patch trading activities.
Well, you'll think this is funny. I've always said the most dangerous patch trader at a NOAC or at a Jamboree is a 17-year-old who's been there before, because they're the ones who just they play it.
There's no doubt about that.
As adults, I mean, we
in my
get a bad rap. But the 17-year-olds, man, they'll get you.
Yeah, my 45 years of patch trading, it's never an adult who took advantage of me. It's always a young person.
Yeah. Well, let me wrap up with this because, again, I know some people watching this podcast are going to know these questions. So we've kind of gone down the road back in previous Jamborees. So in previous years, since you have been involved and Russell Smart and some other guys have been involved, you've come up with this ingenious idea that visitors who come in with their, YPT and all that kind of stuff could actually sort of register and get a pass so that they could trade patches without having any problems. What are y'all
Right.
talking about plans for that for this year?
Oh, the absolute same thing. Look, visitors coming in to trade patches just add to the programmatic element. I'm a huge fan of that. As long as they stay in the appropriate areas and, don't take advantage of anybody and don't come with spoofs and don't come with fakes and, that we're going to enforce against. But for the most part, visitors that come to trade patches in the trout spading community, we're pretty good people and we tell good stories and we take good care of kids. So we're very excited about the opportunity for visitors to come in and trade for a day or a week and just be there and enjoy the company and the environment of the Jamboree. I mean, the tough thing about describing the Jamboree is the energy that comes at that Jamboree of all of those kids together having fun. And that energy is infectious. So I want as many people in our movement to come experience that energy as they can.
Well, you heard it right there from the chairman, Tico Perez. That's the deal for patch trading and visitors at the Jamboree. I know I'm excited. I really am leaning more towards going with a unit because then I could really have the Jamboree experience. He mentioned not being able to go back to the different areas. That's something I've not done yet. You talk about taking things off your bucket list. I have not gone down the big zip, as they call it. I have not visited the big skate park, which is one of the largest in the world that they have there at the summit. So there's things that I haven't done that I think I would like to do. And of course, do a little bit of patch trading on the side, which would be a lot of fun. So I really want to thank Tico Perez for taking time out to let me interview him. He also agreed to let me split this up so that I could sort of make it more digestible pieces. And so I do have a little bit more audio with him that I'm going to try to spin up into like a little video that I'll post out separate from Scouting Hot Finds Live. Well, that wraps up episode 3. Again, thank Mary for sending me some feedback. Anyone who has feedback, please leave it in the comments, whether you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, or possibly even as my podcast, Scouting Hot Finds Live. I would appreciate it very much because what you do is you give me ideas for where I need to go. For example, next week, it will be the week right before my Trade-O-Ree. And so I don't really have the script laid out yet for what that's going to be. One of these ideas of pushing towards trying to help new collectors and give them ideas, that's definitely something that I've always felt led to do. And I will definitely try to get going. But again, would love your ideas. Appreciate it very much. Jason Spangler, the Santee Swapper.